It's July 26, 2011. I'm Rim, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, Half Minute Hero.
Let's do this.
Oh man, not going to work all week.
No, you're going to work next week.
Yeah, next week I got to start my new job.
Didn't you say you were going to go to the work once to fill out your HRs?
Yeah, on Thursday I'm going to do some demo stuff, but most of it'll be online.
Oh, that's good. You want to hear some HR bullshit?
Nah.
So, I had a 401k, then I had another job, I had another 401k.
So I got to sort all that out because I have a 401k from the company I just quit.
Yep.
And I have a 403b I never rolled over from the last company I worked at.
So I was in that situation. I had two 401ks from two jobs. I got a third job, so I rolled them both over.
I'm not sure if I want to go into a 401k with the next company or if I want to just do my own IRA and make that my thing forever.
But anyway, I rolled everything over, right?
I'm sure the gamer listeners are fascinated by this.
Oh, fascinated.
Oh my God, this is what 30-year-olds talk about.
So then they closed the 401k and started a new one. I had to roll over. So regardless, I got a letter the other day, and it was like, hey, this is from the 401k that completely closed because the company, where I work now was bought by where I work now, right? So, where I just, anyway.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, the 401k is closing. If you have any money, you're getting a check whether you like it or not. And I was like, I rolled it all over. I'll just ignore this letter. Check shows up in the mail for almost $2,000. I'm like, what?
Ah.
Did somebody give me money, or did somebody not take all the money out even though I told them to, right, to roll it over?
It's hard to say.
Regardless, the check says, you get this much money and federal tax withheld, 0. So I'm looking at this check and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
If I just cash this.
Well, it depends. You're
bank,
not doing Roth, right? So
no.
you pay tax as you put in. So taking out, you don't pay tax. Roth is you pay the tax now.
But if
you don't pay the tax now.
This money was in a 401k. So if you withdraw it, you pay a penalty.
Yeah.
So this was taken out without penalty. So if I roll it over to something else, that's fine. If I cash this at the bank, I'm pretty sure if I don't pay the penalty,
no one will notice.
That's very illegal. But also, no one will notice.
Here's my advice to you. Don't talk about this publicly where anyone can hear you and just cash the check.
No, I'm going to put it in the other one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the HR person.
Yeah,
but it's like,
my stuff
the
out.
point is what the fuck? I told you to take out all the money and move it from A to B, and you didn't move all the money?
Don't trust other people.
Or did you give me free money? What happened?
Nah, it's hard to say.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, this week I got nothing to do. I've been editing some Geeknights videos, hanging out.
Even though I have a lot to do, I've been working.
Sleeping. I was playing a game a little while ago called Bouldering. Because Phil and Chia are out, so we were actually doing some rock climbing in Central Park. And I've said this before to a lot of our friends, but I haven't really pointed out on the show. Rock climbing is more a game than a sport. It's more intellectual than you would think. So if any of you nerds out there don't think you can do it, I recommend trying to do it.
Yeah, 3-year-olds can do it, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They can.
So.
Just like they could do jungle gym. I bet you can't do jungle gym as well as a 3-year-old.
You know why I can't? Because my knees hit the ground.
I know.
So I downloaded, I basically get almost every demo now on the Xbox because it only costs me time. Though
I only get demos of games that I actually want to check out.
I get demos of games that I expect to be bad just to see how bad they really are. I mean, I got whatever that new D&D game is, and I thought, all right, what's it going to be? A crappy walk around and hit things game?
Yep.
It was amazing to me that despite expecting it to be a crappy walk around and hit things game, it didn't even work that well as a crappy walk around and hit things game.
See, here's the thing is I've actually been playing a lot of various demos and other games around lately.
Why is this the season of walk around and hit things?
And I'm saying almost every game that I've tried out that turned out to be a walk around and hit things game. First, I was in the Dark Spore beta, walk around and hit things. I tried out Dragon Age 2 demo. Walk around and hit things.
There's more to Dragon Age 2 than just walk around and hit things. As opposed to, say, this D&D game that is just walk around and hit things, as far as I can tell.
I don't know. That Dragon Age 2 is mostly walk around and hit things. What was this other one I played? Oh, it was El Shaddai, walk around and hit things. It wasn't D&D. It was some other fantasy thing, but it was walk around and hit things. But the one that I played was Bastion, which was also walk around and hit things. but it had this really clever narration mechanic where basically all it really is there's things that you do that trigger wave files. That's really all it is. But the narrator was an excellent narrator. Like the voice actor they got for it does an excellent job. Like a James Earl Jonesian high quality job.
Or like a Morgan Freeman.
Exactly. So it's like, for example, you start the game and you're laying in bed. And you're just sitting there. As soon as you move the stick, your guy gets up, and the narrator at that exact moment says, he gets up. And it's like you walk around, and there's an area where like you get a weapon, and he says, oh man, and then he found the something, right? And then you go to the next area, and there's a bunch of stuff to smash. You don't have to smash it. You can just
You're gonna smash it.
But if you sit around and smash things long enough, it's like, eventually the narrator is like, guy just rages for a while. Right? And it's like, that mechanic kept me going through the demo, so I bought it, and I played a whole bunch of it. The thing is, it is walk around and hit things. So eventually, after like 6, 7, 8 levels, I'm like, I'm still walking around.
Well, you see what's
hitting
happening
things.
here. Games like that do something cool, but all they have is their one-trick pony. Yep. They've got like the one cool thing that they innovated, and that's it. The genius games are going to be the next games that take the few like really interesting mechanics that people use in these crap games and actually combine them into a real game that isn't just a cool narrative or isn't just a gimmick.
Yeah, but yeah, it's cool though, because the thing that really surprised me about the clever, they called it reactive narration, which is really just triggered wave files that were well scripted to various activities, was that it doesn't take that much, it's so easy to program, right? It's all just getting the data right. It's nothing to do with clever program. It's not like Dwarf Fortress where this sort of seemingly really awesome stuff happens because it's a complex system.
I'm glad you said seemingly.
Yeah, it's just a wave file played if the player does a certain thing. That's all. And they just have a lot of wave files tied to a whole lot of events, that could possibly happen.
It's even easy to do just dynamic music in games. I mean, look at even Tribes 2 had that dynamic looping system where the music would like ramp up as the action was ramping up around you. Everyone had different music.
But this is like you'll go into the weapon upgrade shop and you'll upgrade a weapon, and then when you leave, based on what weapon you upgraded, he'll say something different that's relevant to that weapon. Stuff like that. That
almost goes along the lines of why I liked old adventure games like Quest for Glory, because half the game was just like you see something really dangerous and you're like, I wonder how that'll kill me. It's like, I wonder what he'll say if I do X.
Yeah, imagine if Shadowgate, which had all the different text for all the different deaths, which is basically what this
had Morgan Freeman reading them to you?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And the text didn't appear on the screen unless you enabled subtitles.
Oh, we got to get the license to Shadowgate and then hire Morgan Freeman.
We probably could. The last Shadowgate, I was pretty sure was Shadowgate 64, which was awful. My brother rented it and played a ton of it, but
what? Why?
That is an angry video game nerd fodder if I've ever seen one.
It might be too bad.
It's so bad. It's almost as bad as Superman 64.
Don't say that.
Shadowgate 64.
Scott, don't say that. That's not even like funny.
Shadowgate 64 is so bad. You have no idea. You should get it. Play it in emulator.
So the two games that stood out that I was playing demos of, one was Trenched, which was this kind of like World War I-esque fight the aliens that are actually just people in TVs. It gets a lot of points for style, but I worry that the game is just tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just walk around, dig. Game like it has this thing.
Oh, right, that's the one where you're sort of in the mech thing.
Yeah,
right?
it's called a trench.
Yeah, right.
But the enemy is television, which I think we dig.
Yeah,
we jelly with that.
I like that.
But
jelly means jealous,
yeah.
not gelling as in. Anyway,
we're jealous of the ability to destroy TV. They have the chance.
That we are.
We do not have the chance. And the internet, anyway.
We have a slight chance.
So,
incredibly slight.
We had a better chance when we were young and planning that, but that's a story for another time. But it's one of those games where it has the thing where if you hit each of the shoulder buttons, either your right machine gun or your left machine gun is shooting. Why would you ever not be holding both of those down?
You could theoretically have a game where you could aim them in different directions, right?
Or they have slightly different kinds of ammo.
Because I could actually...
Or they spin down or like overheat at the same rate. So maybe you let go of one to let it cool down to have a weapon while the other, some sort of mechanic. It doesn't seem like this game had that.
No, I couldn't figure out a reason not to hold both at the same time. In fact, I was messed up and I kind of lost a little bit because I didn't realize there were two. The thing is, I could envision a game that could be pretty cool, which would be a stationary shooter. You don't get to move around. Or maybe someone else does the moving and you do the shooting, where you actually use the left stick to aim the left arm, the right stick to aim the right arm, and the two triggers to shoot the two different arms. So you can actually aim in two different places simultaneously.
simultaneously.
But in this game, you can only aim in one spot at a time using only the right stick, so there was no reason for there to be separate arms.
That is still such inside baseball, that simultaneously thing.
Simultaneously.
But the other one that stood out was Catherine, which Scott had mentioned, and I just kind of ignored
Well,
it.
I'd known about this game for a while, and I knew that it was one of those freaky games from Japan that's probably never going to get released in the U.S., but oh my god, this is the one freaky game from Japan that's going to get released in the U.S. I should pay attention to it. So I actually had it, like, in the Amazon, not your shopping cart, like the saved shopping cart, just to remind, so every time I bought something on Amazon, I would be reminded. But it was like $50, $60 for this Xbox game, and I really don't want to buy a disc game. And then on top of that, there's like a collector's box you can get that includes like a pair of boxers and a soundtrack CD and a bunch of ridiculous shit. There's some YouTube videos you can see where they show you all the ridiculous shit that comes in the goodie box. And, so I'm like, I'm curious because, everyone likes it when the ridiculous game from Japan gets released in the U.S. So the demo came out on the Xbox, so I got it. And,
Yep, I just played through enough from the demo to know.
It has good parts and bad parts.
I was worried because it started out like really like the opening screen with the guy with the little ram's horns like hanging in the barbed wire and the girl just kind of chilling next to him. I was like, this is the kind of thing where if it was an anime, I would be intrigued.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very much
It is an anime in a way. It's really like there's a lot of animation in it. There's a lot of like it's kind of like an interactive anime.
It's very much in the speed grapher genre of anime.
Yeah, but Speed Grapher went a little too woodly, a little too early.
It's still the same genre. Just
it is, but better executed, I would say.
I would say so.
But independent of that, it was weird because it starts. I'm like, all right, what's the deal? And then I play this weird kind of 3D. Surprisingly difficult tower climbing puzzle.
Well, the first level wasn't difficult.
No, the second level was difficult though.
But it's not that it was difficult; it's that you could see how as the puzzles could easily get more difficult and challenging.
Yes, that I couldn't just blow through it. I had to actually be like, okay, do this.
Yeah, and like there were parts, it was like, yeah, the boxes will not fall down as long as they're touching by a corner, and I'm like, that's great. But it actually took a little while to figure out how to actually get the blocks into that configuration.
Never mind, do it quickly.
Even though I was trying to, I was actively trying to figure out how that worked. It's like, oh, you can make a staircase that's not supported by anything at all. I was like, that's the way to go.
But then, after that ends, I'm playing through that at first. I'm like, all right, it's some crappy, like, okay puzzle platformer that has, like, a weird plot around it. Whatever. People often cover up a mediocre game with a plot. And then I got to the other part, kind of, like, gameplay, where you just hang out with your friends and get text messages from your girlfriend and respond to them.
Yeah, it's like the plot part it's not as good as say Half-Life where the plot and the game are integrated, or Portal 2, right? Where they're intertwined, they're the same thing, right? This is like you do a puzzle game when you're sleeping, and then when you're awake, you go to the bar and you play this plot game. But the plot game actually had some interesting stuff that wasn't necessarily straightforward. Take, for example, those Knights of the Old Republic Star Wars games, right?
Oh, yeah.
I bought one of them cheap on Steam because they were so talked about. Nah, not a fan. But it's like, those are the ones where you talk to people, and depending on what you say and what quests you do, you be, dark side or light side.
Those
right?
games have potential, but never really utilize it.
Everything you really do, it's the same as Fallout 3, right? Everything you do, it's sort of like just obvious. There's a dark side choice, a light side choice, and sort of a weird choice sometimes. And that's it. In this, it's like you weren't always sure what the choice you were making was leaning towards. It's like there was this really good system for making text messages where you push A and he'd write a line of the text message. And
it's Phoenix Wright style.
And you could either keep that line that he wrote or erase it and press A again to get a different choice. And so basically you press A, B, A, B, A, B to see all the choices. But it's like, you text someone, it's like, hey, baby, what's up, or how are you doing? And those are your three choices. And you're like, okay. And then the next choice is like, the girl, then she texts you back and she's like, where are you? And it's like, you can say one of the choices is the truth. At the bar drinking, I'm at home, I'm at a movie, at work, and it's like, which one do you choose? But it's
and
not.
Also, what are you going for? Like, I don't know if I wanted to be good or bad.
It's like you didn't even know which choice was good or bad. I mean, obviously, lying is probably worse than the truth, but maybe not, because where you are is not where she might want you to be. It's like,
It's also,
and you didn't choose to be there. It's like you don't get to control the whole plot. It's like you're at the bar drinking.
And there's a kind of like dream murder plot going on And
it's obviously a metaphor about just, commitment and
it's commitment
growing up
relationships.
and love and whatever.
But I love the artistic style. I love how he's got the little horns and all the other sheep are there dying around him through this like dream maze.
And the sheep is egging him on, and like the hands are coming up from below to pull him into the,
Yep. And the second tower, it's the girl, and then there's that other girl, and I think I'm gonna buy it.
All right. You gonna buy it on disc?
I don't know.
I think, because if you buy it on disc, you can just give it to me when you're done with it.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could.
And save me $60.
I don't know. It's intriguing.
You could buy the expensive one.
I would recommend,
I'll
say this, of all the games we've talked about recently, if you've got an Xbox, just grab the demo of Catherine and just check it out.
I want you to, I think it'll be on the PS3 too, maybe.
I'm not sure if I like it. It's interesting.
I just want to see people buy it to prove to Japan yet again, we fucking buy your games, bitches. There's no reason that every single game you make shouldn't be released in the US.
It warranted a second look from both me and Scott, and how rare is that?
Yeah. Anyway. So, when I was in sixth grade, which
So you were like 10 or 11.
I was 11, 12, right? So there was this school, basically every year the middle school did a magazine drive, which is basically go sell magazine subscriptions to all your family and friends and neighbors to get money for the school to do shit like keep the band around and whatever, right? So all I did was I said, these are cheap magazine subscriptions. So I got a subscription to GamePro, and I kept that subscription through when I was at RIT.
Wow.
I think I
kept Nintendo Power from 1 to 200.
I think I canceled it in like 2001 or 2 or something
My
like that.
My brother kept Nintendo Power, but I gave up because I had the internet and I was playing PC games.
Yeah. And, you can say whatever you want about GamePro. It had pros and cons over the years.
It was no PC gamer. GamePro was like the weakest link.
I bought some PC gamers in my day as well.
I subscribed once to PC Gamer for a whole year. That was awesome.
I subscribed to Computer Shop for free.
Because it came with those CDs or those floppies with games.
I know.
Games. Raptor Call of the Shadows, One Must Fall 2097. Oh, shit, son.
Yeah, right? I would just download.
Oh, my God. There's something for our PAX panel. Just to bring those games up.
I'm sure people know about those games.
I don't think people do.
Anyway, So I was there in the Scary Larry days. By the way, he now works at Nintendo for Pokemon. He works for Pokemon, not for Nintendo, which I guess is sort of it doesn't matter, right? So GamePro, after it was really sucky when I got rid of it in 2002, that was like the doldrums. And by then, internet had taken over. Video game magazines are dead. Kotaku, Joystick, destroy them. There's no reason for them to exist. But just today, GamePro announced something interesting, which sort of almost makes me want to subscribe, which is really weird. And basically what they're doing is they're going to become a quarterly magazine.
Oh.
So there'll only be 4 GamePros a year.
But if they do what The Escapist should have been.
Right, but it's going to be 50 pages bigger, right? And it's going to be $10. So maybe I think I might buy the first one of these on the newsstand just to see.
I don't want review. I want like expert commentary.
Yeah,
I want like what Daryl and Mike and all them do with their magazine.
Taku USA.
Yeah, like I want that for video games.
If they can make a really highbrow gaming magazine that isn't, it's like, look, you're a magazine, you're on print. You can't get up-to-date news. You can't beat the blogs in terms of speed. But if you can beat them in content, maybe. And if you take
easily look at the state of video game journalism.
If you take 3
you could throw
months,
a stick at a piece of paper with ink on it and beat them.
If you take 3 months to put, something that's only 15% bigger than what you normally do in 1 month, right? So if they did it 300% bigger, so it was 3 times as big as a normal GamePro, it would be the same quality you imagine as a normal GamePro. But they're only making it slightly percentage-wise bigger than an existing GamePro, and they're putting 3 months of effort into it, so it should be at least twice as good as GamePro is now, which is probably shitty.
Kind of like when those Geeknights guys switched to 2 episodes a week instead of 4.
Yeah. And the other thing is GamePro, unlike, say, Game Informer, which is owned by GameStop, or does any other magazine still exist? I don't even know. Isn't, directly tied to some other evil entity, even though I'm pretty sure there's plenty of bullshit, where companies pay for better review scores and all that crap that goes,
What would sell me 100% is if they got rid of all scores and just had essay reviews on everything.
Yeah, they should just, team up with like Escapist or something to produce this quarterly, or it's, just if it could potentially be good. So I'm going to check it out. I'm going to get the first one on the newsstand.
Scott, what is this surprising wave of optimism on Geeknights? Oh, this new Catherine game might be worth looking at. This magazine I might look at.
Because we're still hesitant. when we're saying, dude, this shit is awesome, then you can ring
what was the last
bells.
thing we said that about except Portal 2?
Portal 2.
Before that? Portal? Yep.
Let me check the archives.
So we at least have to talk a little bit about the fact that EA bought PopCap for like over $1 billion. Why? What? I don't even understand. Like, that came out of nowhere. I'm sure if I'd been paying attention, maybe we could have seen it coming, but I ignore EA, and I definitely ignore PopCap.
Apparently, Zynga wanted to buy PopCap and got turned down.
I could see that. I wonder if Zynga lowballed, though.
I don't know.
I don't like Zynga. I think Zynga is bad.
Yeah, we liked Battleline. That was the last thing we said good things about, maybe. Battleline. Anyway. Yeah, so it's like, the thing is, it's kind of weird because EA is a gigantic company, and they make these gigantic games that sell a ton of copies.
I think they've realized that the big blockbuster high-budget game is, at least for the near term, I think that's going to be on a huge downward spiral.
Right, but it's like, look how much money EA makes off Madden. Compare that to how much money PopCap made off of Peggle. Peggle probably made, I don't have numbers, I'm just guessing.
It probably made more money because it cost nothing to make.
Exactly, right? It was so cheap to make Peggle.
This is what Nintendo's so afraid of.
A bajillion of them for like $1.
That people who aren't self-identified invested gamers
aren't going to pay $50 for Peggle.
Because they don't care.
They're going to pay $1 for
games.
Peggle.
And Zynga wouldn't really have been a good fit because Zynga doesn't make games. Honestly, I kind of want to do a panel at the next PAX called Zynga Doesn't Make Games.
Oh, shit. Hope Zynga people doesn't show up.
That would be the most, inflammatory we've ever gone.
You can't target a specific, anyway.
But they are the worst. They're the most evil.
They are. Anyway.
But PopCap isn't evil. I can't call them evil.
I actually have a lot of PopCap games on my phone because I bought them when they were on sale, and they're kind of good.
They're good at what they do.
Angry Birds is still better than their games, but it's in the same kind of genre.
Yeah, we got to wait for Rovio to make different games that aren't just throw birds at stuff.
Actually, the best game PopCap has is the Bookworm adventure-y ones.
Oh, shit. I forgot all about Bookworm.
Yeah, they have Bookworm. They have...
We played Bookworm at RIT, the original.
The stupidest one they have is, I think, the Aquarium. Did they do the Aquarium one? I got to check their website.
I don't even remember.
That's a game where literally all you do is upgrade the aquarium, and then you upgrade the aquarium in order to upgrade the aquarium. Oh, and they have Plants vs. Zombies isn't bad. That's not the worst.
I don't understand what EA wants with PopCap. Unless
because
they're trying to get into that market,
right?
And they don't.
And Bejeweled, of course, they make all their money on that.
I mean, my guess is that they don't have, like, in-house, some executive was like, we don't have any inroads into that light casual gaming. We got to get something.
Well, you also got to think of it long term, right? Even if EA could easily just make its own games in that genre and do the same business model, right? So they don't need PopCap to do that. What they do, though, is PopCap has a proven track record of making multiple successful games in that genre, right? So they're buying basically the talent that made Peggle, Zuma, all these games.
Now, I would wonder if
so
they're
now
going to
that they own those people, any games that those people make in the future, if they're as successful as Plants vs. Zombies, etc., EA will make all the monies on that.
Now I'm wondering if I don't know how much the money would matter to them, especially because they're paying $1 billion for the company.
They need the money because I think I don't know, I didn't check their numbers, but I think they're down. I don't think they're doing as well as they were. So, if PopCap's on the way up, that could boost the bottom line.
My money's in Take-Two, but that's a separate thing.
Anyway.
But with EA, I wonder if the real goal in the end is to leverage popular, cheap games like this. They'll make money, which is fine. I think they're going to try to use that sort of thing to feed into their big games with either microtransactions or, oh, you get a goodie if you play this PopCap, like this little version, like this, I don't know, a Major League Baseball like home run contest that they make the PopCap guys make. And then, as you level up in this, you get goodies in the current
there definitely is
game.
A lot of possibilities for integrating the various PopCap games with the EA games.
And I think
and
that's
especially
what they're going to do.
EA, right? EA has made a bunch of mobile games, but they haven't been nearly as successful as the PopCap ones. So, for example, there is a mobile Madden. Good luck with that shit.
Meanwhile, EA is looking into subscription services for their sports games. I saw an article about that, which is pretty much about time because they already have a subscription model, except for the fact that a lot of people are more and more okay with having a game from 2 years ago. Yep. Only the people who are nerds about video games.
They need to have the most up-to-date roster.
Only people who care about sports and video games care.
Well, there's people who actually care about sports video games. Anyway.
Yeah, but I believe most of those people care to a degree about sports. They want the game to match the current rosters because they care about that sort of thing. And a subscription model prevents the basically, it'll get all the casual people who like play a Madden every now and then. They're probably more likely to subscribe if the price is low enough than they are to buy more than one Madden game every several years.
Yep. So I just want to point out, while we're talking about PopCap, the Make-A-Wish Foundation sent some kid over to PopCap because his wish was to make a video game. He had the game all designed out and shit, and the PopCap people made it, and it's free on the App Store, the iPhone, iPad App Store.
I did not know that.
The game is called Allied Star Police. It's it is sort of a full game, but it really only has, you just play the same thing on 3 difficulties and then it's done. It's not big, but it's free. And the way it works is sort of like it's actually pretty good. It's like amazingly good for what it is. So the way it works is it's sort of like Plants vs. Zombies, but it's real-time Plants vs. Zombies. So there's 4 columns, and bad guys start coming down the columns. And in real time, you have to send tanks and different vehicles. You spend money to buy them and send them down the different columns, and they move. So it's like in Plants vs. Zombies, you sit still while the zombies come at you. This is more like if it were Zombies vs. Zombies. So you're sending guys down the 4 columns, and they're sending guys at you. And as you kill their guys, you get more money to send more guys, but your guys die. And then you just send more guys to replace them, and you have to destroy the other guy's fort. So I beat it on the first try in all 3 difficulties, and you're supposed to just keep playing the same thing over and over again to get a high score. But this is a pretty good game for some kid designed it, and, had PopCap made it out of charity.
Well, that dynamicness, too. That's what we always say. No one's really made a good versus tower defense.
Yeah, this is definitely it's not versus, it's against the computer.
I feel like the active like the way you play is more down the line of going that direction toward straight up 2 towers versus each other.
But yeah, this is, you should try it out because it's free. And actually, if you look, it's kind of funny. You go on iTunes, and like almost every review on iTunes is like 5 stars.
So, things of the day. I want to go back to my roots on things of the day.
College humor?
Basically. more it's that I realize I like things of the day that are interesting, but a lot of times we'll be sitting out with the TV with a bunch of friends over, and we need entertainment, something to show them because the internet is TV now. So I'm like, all right, I always used to go to, the Geeknights site and just go through like all the old things of the day because it was usually funny videos of shit. But lately I've been using a lot more articles or things that are really interesting, but they're not something I can like show someone on a TV. So for the next like several episodes, I'm going to try to use things that someone could show someone else on a TV. And I've had dogs.
In other words, funny cat videos.
Dogs in this case.
Okay.
I had dogs my whole life till I went to college. I love dogs. And dogs are smart. This bulldog is a college humor video.
Or they appear to be smart, but really they're just acting in a way that appears smart by random chance.
In the same way that people do.
Yes.
So this bulldog and his bulldog compatriot really like the outdoor pool because it's hot.
Well, it's just a plastic kiddie pool.
Yeah, that's great if you're a dog.
Well, of course, it's dog size.
So
it's like an Olympic dog pool.
They have a brilliant idea. This pool is awesome, but it is hot outside. What if we bring the pool inside? And the video is them attempting to pull off this master plan. It's adorable.
Okay. So I'm just going to read the text straight from this website, which actually happens to be Crunchyroll, even though what I find strange is that Crunchyroll, I guess is the Crunchyroll News, posted this video with a YouTube embed. It's like, couldn't they embed a Crunchyroll embed? Anyway, Alice in Musicland, a project teased this past February by longtime Vocaloid artist Oster Project, is a new animated musical that mashes up Vocaloids with the familiar characters from Lewis and Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, resulting in a work that is able to appeal not only to Vocaloid fans, but anyone with an appreciation for the happiness music can bring. So this is a 12-minute musical that is 100% sung by Vocaloid characters, a whole bunch of them, and also an animation that is original. And it's totally awesome times a billion. And I wanted to bring it to Tuesday because usually I use Vocaloid-related things there Wednesday. But you know what? Wednesday people already know Vocaloid exists. Tuesday people, if they're not the same people, I know we have a lot of people just listen every day, they might not know. So now you know, and you're going to see a Vocaloid thing. How about that?
All right.
This is actually like ridiculously awesome. You have no idea. We're going to watch it right after the show's over. Because I only watched it once so far.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm a huge fan of our virtual idols. And
this is unbelievably good.
as long as they don't go all super Macross on us.
You have no idea. This is unbelievably good.
So, in the meta moment, we are going to be at the Penny Arcade Expo doing one panel at noon on Saturday. Discover the Forgotten Masters. I don't want to say much
Steal
about
from the Forgotten Masters.
no, this one's Discover, as opposed to the other one, which was Steal, which is separate and special. This one, one piece of it, I won't spoil the rest. Scott and I are going to play Outlaw in front of the audience as we comment on Outlaw, which I think
it's
is
all you bringing the Atari out there.
One of the
it's all you making it work with the projector.
One of the better designed games out there. I note that I currently hold the Geeknights Championship belt for Outlaw because Scott could not win it.
I only lost by like 1 bullet.
Yeah, 1 bullet. That's all it takes.
So you
shut up.
Since you're not going to work, you can try to get an Atari emulator to work. And,
that's fine.
And just in case bringing the Atari proves to be
you
too
just
difficult.
want an emulator because you want to practice to try and take the belt away, but there's no chance. Also, in the meta moment, I'll let you know that because I have this week off, I've been feverishly editing all the archival video I've got. So 2 more of our panels are going to go up. Uncle Yo's stand-up, I'm going to get up in our channel as soon as I put it together.
Our channel, not his channel?
Because our channel no longer has time restrictions. I can put the whole thing up in one video. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's what I'm working on right now.
I've been working on upgrading frontrecruit.com significantly. I'm doing a lot of stuff to upgrade it. You can read about it in the forum.
It's pretty exciting.
If you can also, right now, the best thing you can do is if you're a Facebook person, we have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/frontrecruit. Gasp. And eventually, once this new site goes up, which hopefully will be before PAX, but maybe not, depending, but hopefully it will be, it will automatically post everything that we do to that Facebook page.
Everything.
In a very high class and professional way. So you could actually I basically gave up on trying to get people to come to frontrecruit.com. So it's like I'm going to make the website itself as rich as possible. Like everything's going to be there. But you know what? Why, if someone doesn't want to come to our website, why should I inconvenience them,
because
right?
we don't have ads, so it's not like we need people to come. In fact, it's better if you don't come because it saves us bandwidth.
I'm just going to take, the only reason it's not like I actually wanted people to come for any reason other than I put all this work into it and no one sees it, right? I'm just going to basically...
Oh, you know who sees it? Every time we get a new listener, they're at a con, they wonder, who the fuck were those guys trashing my Dota game?
Yeah, right.
And they go online, they Google for Geeknights, they find the website, they go, oh, those guys are some handsome individuals, and I will listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fancy shit in general.
Yeah.
So, Rim, what happened to the book club?
We didn't do it last week because we were lazy. We both read Foundation. We'll record it this week and put it up. And you got to do the data entry on the book club for your book.
We also didn't do the data entry for the other, like the past one or two.
Yeah.
That's all right.
We can do it. I did all the other ones.
Yeah, most of them are in there.
Yeah.
Where no one can see them yet, but you will see them soon.
The book club is splitting off into its own thing, the Geeknights book club, so we'll try to do them at least once a month, and they won't take up Thursday episodes.
Which means we need Thursday episode ideas.
And I'm cutting all the audio of the book club out of the old Thursday episodes where there's all that like news and crap in it, so you can listen to just the book club bit.
I got to figure out how we're actually going to post those.
Yeah, you figure that out. Because
I think we just might have to leave those the way they are.
No, I'm going to repost them in the new way.
Then there's gonna be double episodes.
That's fine. I'll note all the doubles. I think it's worth it
because it's not. I'll show you. I don't know if it's gonna work.
Because it'll be worth it to have doubles. We'll have to change the names or something. It's worth it to have the audio there without the cruft audio. No one needs the news.
People can just fast forward.
They don't. You know people.
Whatever.
They don't need
We've only actually done like a handful of book club episodes. It won't be so bad. Just leave the old ones the way they are.
No, I want to put them in the feed at least, even if I don't redo the audio.
It's not good.
Why not?
It's not the way I did it. It's not gonna work. But then you code the website to make it handle that.
I could. I made a Django site before I quit my job.
Yeah.
It's pretty bare bones.
Good luck.
You know what though? It's got a great admin interface.
Sure. Well, yeah, because it's automatic.
Yeah.
And actually, that admin really starts to fail whenever you start to do anything fancy.
Yep. The unofficial book club book is not one book, but it is many books. Basically, all of the Prince of Nothing series by R. Scott Bakker. Just read them all. We're going to be doing shows and shit on that stuff because it's having yet another resurgence in the crew. So we got to capitalize on that. Mm-hmm. And they're great books. Otherwise, New York Comic-Con Anime Festival is coming up, doing stuff at that. PAX East is coming up, doing stuff at that. So we only got 30 seconds. So Half Minute Hero is a game where you play an entire JRPG in 30 seconds.
Awesome, because that's my number one problem with JRPGs. They take too goddamn long.
I never thought I'd play a game where grinding was fun.
Well, you're not actually grinding. That's sort of.
Well, you are. And then
when you're out of time, end of the world.
But when it wasn't 30 seconds yet.
I'm just guessing.
But when you are grinding, it's kind of like it does all the work. It's like, all right, I got to level up now. And it takes like 10 seconds, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, 10 seconds is a long time to spend grinding.
This is the interesting thing, right? It's like, you look at it, and mechanically, it is a JRPG, but because of the way it's done, it's actually not. It's more of a dexterity,
It's like a dexterity puzzle game.
Yeah, it's like you need the same skills as a platformer, but you also need to figure out the order to do the things in. And it's grinding is maybe you'll have to do it, but it'll only take you like 30 seconds, and
if you do, it's part of a payoff. Like, do you want to grind, or maybe you can find an item that'll beat the boss, even if you're not more powerful than the boss.
And sometimes the grinding isn't
like
just
anaphylax. You get her with that bug swatter.
Yeah, and the grinding isn't just grinding. It's like actually you're racing against the clock. I don't know how far you've gotten. There's a level where you have to beat this hermit.
Yeah, I got the hermit.
And it's like you have to get enough levels to beat him. Otherwise, you can just beat the level the other way. So it's like once you get to level 30. Or 40, he'll challenge you. But in order to actually beat him, you need to get to level 50 plus. But you can only get levels by fighting him. So what you need to do is you need to get to level 39 and then fight him and get 11 levels in that one battle so that in the next battle when he challenges you, you're over 50. And you need to time it just right.
So I love how the game... The first time you play, like it says, like, all right, you got 30 seconds, the fucking world ends, and it doesn't tell you what to do or anything.
Yeah.
And you you're like, oh crap, and you run into town, and then the clock keeps going down. You're like, you go into the menu, clock keeps going. You're like, what? And then you die, and then it's like, all right, we're gonna scale it back a little bit. I like that whole shtick at the beginning.
So I just just some information, right? So this game was released in Japan, known as Yusha 30 or Yusha Sanju, right? Hero 30 in Japan, and it was a real-time. Wikipedia describes it as a hybrid real-time strategy action RPG shoot 'em up.
That's about right.
It was released on the PSP in May 28, 2009. It was released on the North American PSP October 2009. It was the reason we know about it is because on June 29th, it was released on Xbox Live Arcade in the U.S. under the title Half Minute Hero Super Nega Neo Climax, and Half Minute Hero 2 has been announced. So I think the only part of the game you've probably played is Hero 30.
I know there are other modes.
Right, so I've played some of Evil Lord
30 looks really fun.
Which is basically the same as Hero 30, only you play as, do you remember the Evil Lord who was hot and had the bat for a girlfriend?
Yeah.
You play as him. Then there's Princess 30 mode, which is a shoot 'em up game. There's Knight 30 mode, which is an action game, which I assume is more like Zelda. There's Hero 300 mode, except you have 300 seconds to beat a level, but the time goddess is not there. And certain areas of the map become inaccessible every 60 seconds of the game. I'm just reading this on Wikipedia because I haven't gotten past Evil Lord 30.
Yeah, I've not played that much yet, but the game is super fun.
And then there's Hero 3 mode, which is the same as Hero 30, but you start with only 3 seconds, and there's only one mission.
There's got to be just a joke at the end.
I think it's probably the end.
There's a fun balance here of the game is funny and cute, Like the goddess is like, yeah, I guess I could just roll back time.
But
and
I
fix
want
everything.
money. Give me all the treasure, and then I'll reset. Yeah, if you give me enough money, I'll reset time.
He's like, why do you need money? Don't worry about that. I also like how you can change the graphics between like normal modern graphic mode, which is like this cute kind of scribbly, like drawn in MS Paint style.
I actually, aesthetically, the 16-bit. Final Fantasy.
I play in 16-bit mode.
I like that mode better aesthetically, but actually it's harder to play in that mode. So
I find it harder to play in the normal mode.
I play in the normal mode mostly, even though I like the way the other mode looks better.
I think it's because I played the other mode first a whole bunch, so maybe I'm used to it.
It's really surprising because every single art asset in the game they did twice. It's like everything is 16-bit and also not. And it's really sometimes they don't have cutscenes, but they'll do the full screen splash.
Yep.
Sort of Ninja Gaiden style.
Ninja Gaiden.
Right, Ninja. And in the 16-bit, those look really great. Like, the way they design the characters.
It makes me really nostalgic. I think that was the intent.
You should definitely play the very first level of Hero 30 twice in both modes so that you can see how the splash screens have completely different art in both different graphics modes.
Yep, and then
I wish, though, you could just switch between the graphics modes instantly.
No, you got to start the game over.
You have to go to the menu and change it, and it loads, and it's kind of slow. That's a little annoying.
Yeah, if I could just hit, like, a trigger and just switch it, I'd just be like, flip, flip, flip,
that would be
flip,
awesome.
flip all the time.
Yep, that'd be great.
Be cool if that in 8-bit mode, too.
Yeah. It's also cool, it's got a lot of stuff that other RPGs have. Like, when you change your equipment, it changes how your guy looks.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of characters, and they're all kind of funny. It's one of those games, like, it's almost a big joke. Like, the whole thing...
obviously half the game is a joke, right? It's like they did a twist on the genre, but they actually made it better. But they also made it sort of a joke, like, lol, it's a JRPG.
Like, oh,
where you level up in like 10 seconds to level 50.
Yep. I think my favorite, like, early on, you run into this bard, and you need him. Like, well, you don't need him, but it really helps to have him to get across this bridge where there's a big mushroom monster to beat.
Yeah.
Because his dog helps. He doesn't help. He just stands there and sings. The dog does all the work. But you're with him. He's in your party for maybe 7 seconds.
Yep.
As you run from one area to another area. And halfway through, he interrupts you, and he's like, what a journey we are on, and he says all this stuff you don't care about. And then at the end, he's like, our lives are changed for all the time we spent together and the many memories we have.
Did you see him a second time?
I did not.
You didn't get to the level where you collect all the people you've been with?
I did not do that.
There's certain boss levels, and basically, I think there are 2 of them, boss levels, where all you do in the level is go around collecting all the previous helpers from the previous levels and then bringing them all to the boss in a giant army. And most of them die, and you do all the work. But it's still pretty awesome.
The game does have a good mechanic of time trials, too. Like, if you've played a level before, it shows a shadow of what you did last time.
Yep.
And it doesn't let you use items from future levels on a past level.
And
so there's no, like, oh, I level up and I go back and beat it faster. It's just, can you beat it faster?
Yeah, there's also, if you have friends on Xbox Live, like, for example, I was playing, and it was like I was sort of taking the slow way to beat a level completely, get all the items, level up a whole bunch, and it said on the screen, like, Fast Karate is fighting the evil lord, and I'm like, what? Which means Dave obviously beat the level a lot faster than I did.
Yep. I was obsessed with, I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd level. I saw you had a score, and it was like way over 30 seconds. Because you did the goddess thing. And I was so close to doing it without having to go to the goddess. Like, I'm like a second away from it, but I just can't do it. I wonder if it's even possible.
I've beaten levels with like a fraction of a second left. I've gotten to the goddess with a fraction of a second left multiple times.
Yep.
I think once I actually went to the goddess statue with literally 1/100th of a second on the clock.
I like that mechanic, but it makes me obsessed with not having to go to the goddess if I can help it.
No, that's another thing is you'll have 5 seconds left, and it's like, well, it'll take me 2 seconds to fight a guy. So you fight a guy, and you get a little bit of XP level up. You got 3 seconds left. Do you go out to fight another guy?
Do you risk it?
Or do you just go and push it?
Because
you pay the goddess the same amount of money no matter what.
Food's cheap. I'll usually go out and hold down B through the fight and hope I don't die.
Depends on the level. Some levels have expensive food. Some levels have no food.
True.
That's the thing is like you can't come
the food's far away.
You can't early in the game. You can use the same formula for beating the levels, but then very quickly every level has something different about it that makes it so you can't just follow the same formula you've been using, which is level up, go to the goddess, level up, go to the goddess, level, go to the goddess, fight the boss. Some levels, there just won't be bad guys out there. You'll have to find some other way to level up. Some levels, there just won't be any money from fighting bad guys. So you have to get your money somewhere else. And it's like, if you don't have money, you can't pay the goddess. So even though you leveled up a whole bunch, you can't level up enough to go fight the evil lord. You need to pay the goddess at least once or twice. You got to find the money somewhere.
Yep, and a lot of the levels have multiple ways to beat them.
That's another thing, is usually I'm super anti getting 100% on the games because I don't have time for that shit, right? But in this game, it's very clear about showing you visually what you need to do to get 100%. And it's not too hard to figure it out either. Like, you'll go to a level, and after you beat it, the little dot on the map will still be gold, which means you didn't get everything. So you go over to that, and you push A, and you see that there's a little symbol with a sword and shield, and it's gray, which means you didn't get all the equipment. So you go back in the level, and you just do it slow, buying every equipment you can find. And you're like, oh, I got it. And that equipment you need it because in the next level, you're really going to need that shit.
Yep.
Then you'll go back and there'll be a level you didn't beat that one either. So you go and you'll see like this, Y with 2 arrows coming at it. It's like, aha, there's another path to beat this level. And you really want to get those because that opens up other levels. I actually beat all of Hero 30 in every single level. And the only level I don't have 100% completion on is a gold dot is the very last one. And it's like, it's weird because at the end of Mega Man 2, there's 2 skulls.
Yep.
There's a second skull on the map. I can't figure out how the fuck to get to it. But I've cleared out every other level in the entire game except the very last one. But it's cool. You definitely want to get the other paths because the other paths have a lot of stuff in them. Like, my favorite path was the one where you make a deal with this evil devil, and basically there's 3 or 4 levels you play, and you have the power of like Satan, and you're like level 1 billion from the beginning of all these levels, but they're still hard. It's like they still have a challenge to them. And then after the 4th level, the final one, it's like the devil only gave you the power 4 times, then he's going to take your soul. So if you don't beat that 4th level properly, then the devil takes your soul and it's the end of the game. And then you have to beat the level a certain way in order for the time goddess to remove the curse and protect your soul. You got to give her all the treasure, basically. You have to get extra treasures to give to her.
That must be what Lena Inverse turns into when she gets too much magic.
Definitely, except the different hair color.
Yeah. That's what happens when you use high-powered magic. Your hair turns gray.
Yes. So, I bought a lot of games in Xbox Live Arcade recently, and, the Bastion one we talked about already. Yep. And
Catherine!
That was a
that's
demo.
A real game.
That's a demo.
Yeah.
Galaga Legions DX, which is all right.
It's not as good as Pac-Man, but it's way fun.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not... Pac-Man was a huge improvement over Pac-Man non-DX. Galaga Legions DX is pretty equivalent to Galaga Legions not DX.
But I had not played Galaga Legion, so I played DX, and it's just like everything's awesome.
Yep. But Half Minute Hero, of all those, I've been playing this one the most, obviously, because I beat it all with... and it does. The thing that really helps me play it all and get completion on it without worrying is because it's so quick.
I can knock out a round, and in a couple minutes, I can beat 2 levels if I'm good.
Yeah, you can beat a whole lot of it really quick. Fill it in while something's cooking. Or
it's got the right level of being funny and everything. Also, the music is fantastic.
Yeah, it's very strange that such a little game would have this big, awesome music in it, but it does.
Well, the thing is, the Neo climax. It's got the music is always epic fantasy. Let's go, holy shit, JRPG.
Mm-hmm.
It almost makes me want to play Final Fantasy IV again.
Except you realize that the fighting the guys is not instant, and you could die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we can say. It's a tiny game. At least the levels are tiny. The game feels tiny, but it's actually pretty gigantic in terms of how much stuff there is in it.
It's like you play
and it never gets old.
And
every level is so different, like Scott was pointing out.
It feels so quick, but then you look back, it's like, how many hours did I put into that? Oh, fuck me. It got me.
Pretty much.
With its instant gratification and quick battling.
There's no reason not to buy this game if you have an Xbox.
The thing is, I wish you could get Final Fantasy VI where the random combat worked like this.
Game Genie.
Maybe I should.
Actually, yeah. I think that's the way to play old JRPGs.
Just, get a Game Genie or emulator so that
I'm level 1 billion. I just go to the plot.
You're level 1 billion, you push a button, you just win every fight.
You just Astro Boy everything.
Turn off all random encounters and you're a level 1 billion, so you win all boss fights.
It's like, where's the bad guy? Galbez, punch him in the face at the end.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
If only it animated you punching him in the face.
Yeah. There's a mod. Take every JRPG, and it's just all you do is punch the big bad in the face, and then the square boss in the face.
I don't think we actually did a description of what this Half Minute Hero is all about, really. So just to, because we completely missed the this part.
The world's gonna end.
All right, so there's an evil lord. You don't know who he is. He's the big bad evil of all big bad evils, and he knows a spell to end the world.
But apparently this spell is like a 3rd level spell. Like it's way fast to cast,
right,
and way easy to learn.
He doesn't want to cast it himself. So what he does is he goes around finding evil dudes who live in castles, and he teaches them the evil spell. And much like Rezo, they're not stupid. And all these people want the world to end. So as soon as the big bad guy teaches them the spell to end the world,
they start casting it.
They start casting it immediately. And you know what? It takes exactly 30 seconds for this spell to work. And after 30 seconds, the world ends.
I love there's the one king who the evil lord didn't even try to teach him. He just overheard the evil lord teaching someone else the spell.
Yeah, right.
That's how easy this shit is. That one bat casts it.
Yeah, there's a bat trying to cast it. There's all sorts of crazy, all the crazy evil lords are the greatest. I wish there was like a mode where like you played as all the evil lords from all, because some of them are just so great. Like there's a guy made of rocks. There's the insect queen.
Anaphylax.
There's there's all, and they all have funny names. And they all look funny and they have funny things to say. All the evil lords are great. So you're a hero and you show up at some place with a castle on a little map, and the evil lord, as soon as you get there, starts casting the spell, and you got to level up enough to kill him. You got to not only level up, but get to him and kill him in 30 seconds.
Now, in the first few levels, it's easy. Like, as soon as you are a high enough level to where with full health, you are stronger than the evil lord.
This thing pops up and tells you greater than evil, which is like, aha, I know now that I'm stronger than the evil lord.
But at
I
the same
wish
time,
that RPGs did that so you knew when to stop grinding.
But at the same time, that's not... Like, that formula doesn't help you later, because I've beaten many bosses where I was not greater than the evil lord.
That's true. Well, you might have help or something. You can beat the boss earlier.
Bugswater.
Yes. You also, there are some levels where even if you're greater than the evil lord, you can't get to the evil lord. You didn't figure out how to work the map properly.
Or you're greater than him, but you have to fight so many of his goons to get to him that you're only greater than him.
Yeah,
not
you
his
might be
goons.
able to get to the castle, but you might not be able to get to the castle with enough time left on the clock. So you have to figure out some way to get to like this hidden town near the castle so that you can reset the clock close enough to the castle so you can get there with 30 seconds left. And it's like a puzzle game, even though it visually and mathematically looks like grinding, it's not grinding. It's actually just part of the puzzle solving.
Really?
How many guys do I need to kill before, and then which town do I go to in order to be able to get to the boss?
There is no reason not to buy this game.
Right, so the rest of the plot is that there's this time princess. What is she? The god of time?
Goddess of time.
She's the goddess of time, and she's good, but she's greedy. She wants treasure, right? And there's statues of her all about the world. And she basically comes to you and is like, hey, let's save the world, but I like money, so here's the deal. If you want me to reset the clock, basically send you 30 seconds back in time, you got to, drop some money at a statue of me to fill up my coffers.
But she doubles the amount of money it costs every time.
No, she only
you do
adds
it.
100, I think, right?
Only 100? I've only ever done it once.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've done a lot of times. So you go to her statue, and the first time, in any given level, the first time you go to the statue, 100, then 200, then 300. You have to keep giving her more and more money the more times you reset the clock per level. So that when you go to the next level, it'll start at 100 again. So you have to basically, in those 30 seconds of playing, you might just try to run around and do all the plot things, but you have to do enough killing to get enough money to reset the clock in those 30 seconds, no matter what else you do.
And get back to a statue. Easy to forget that.
And get back to a statue also, right? So it's kind of tricky. The other thing is, I forget.
Nah, there's not that much to this game.
No, there's not that much.
You should buy it. It was great.
It was awesome.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.